Hello, I'm Janelle Guthrie, accredited in Public Relations and a Fellow from the Public Relations Society College of Fellows. Today, I'm here to talk to you about writing in a brand voice. Since graduating from Washington State University with a double major in journalism and political science, I've worked for a number of organizations ranging from Microsoft to the State Department of Corrections. I'm currently the Communications Director for the Building Industry Association of Washington, representing residential builders, remodelers, and their associates. But throughout my career, I've been a lobbyist for an agricultural organization. I've worked in executive communications for Microsoft. I've worked for 2 attorneys general, a Republican and a Democrat, and I've been a campaign spokeswoman for a governor's race. One of the best things about pursuing a career in public relations and communications is the ability to work in a variety of industries using the same basic communication skills. The key is learning how to shift your thinking to adapt to each new organization or individual's brand. So at its core, public relations is a strategic communications process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. That's the definition of public relations from the Public Relations Society of America. And today we're going to be working on how to capture your organization's brand voice to support your public relations goals. And why is that important? Because consistency creates comfort and connection for your audiences, and also because the public expects professionalism and polish. Your publics are looking for you to be your best. So let's get started. Today, you're going to learn through this video how to 1. Develop a baseline understanding of what a brand is and why consistency matters. You're going to learn the elements of a brand voice. You're going to compare and contrast writing in different brand voices. You're going to explore how strategic communications professionals adjust their writing to reflect their brand personality. And then you're going to apply the elements of the brand voice to written materials. So let's start with the basics. What is a brand? In its simplest terms, it's a commonly agreed upon definition that a brand is an organization's personality. It's not simply a logo or a tagline, it's the feeling your customers, constituents, followers, or key audiences get when they interact with your organization. Put another way, by Seth Godin, a marketing expert and well-known author, a brand is the set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. As a communications professional, one of our jobs is to ensure that all of our communications efforts consistently align with our organization's brand, because it matters. Take a look at this graphic. A lot of people think that the brand is a logo or the tagline, but really it's all those pieces together. It means all of your writing, all of your visual assets, and your marketing efforts align with your brand personality. And again, this matters because your customers and your constituents relate to your brand personality. Inconsistencies create confusion, and consistency builds comfort, loyalty, and trust, all of which helps you better connect and achieve your communications goals. So what is a brand voice? Here are the elements of a brand voice. It really starts, as we talked about, with your character or persona. And depending on the brand or the person that you work for, you might want to assume a friendly persona. Maybe you're authoritative, inspiring, or playful. And then the next part of the voice is your tone. Are you going to have a personable tone? Are you going to be clinical, like working in a hospital? There's a number of different ways you can come at this. The language is next, the type of language that you use. Is it complex? Is it fun? And then finally, you need to consider the purpose of your communication. Are you working to engage, educate, entertain, or inform? let's talk a little bit more about brand personality. The brand personality is a set of human characteristics that are attributed to a brand name. Here at the Building Industry Association of Washington, we recently undertook a brand refresh. And in doing so, we did some research about who people thought our brand was. And so if you look at this sphere here, you'll see that BIW's main personality is that of a hero who advocates for its members, businesses, the industry, and our communities. Heroes are reliable, effective, strong, and principled. And BIW's personality mix also includes the sage, meaning that people look to us as a role for a trusted educator or advisor. And finally, we also appeal to and represent the everyman or every person, suggesting that we should speak with a straightforward, common sense tone. In contrast, here's Audi. They describe their brand personality as visible, tangible, perceptible. They say that their brand inspires people with progressive, premium mobility. They combine perfection and quality with the will to go one step further. And then they talk about, in their brand guidelines, being flexible, confident, and clear. So how do you write in a brand voice? Most major organizations have brand guidelines. They'll be specific to the use of logos and graphical elements, or they may explain the brand voice. This makes it much easier to learn the brand voice. For example, Starbucks has a very clear guideline on its brand voice. It describes itself as functional, helpful and clear, or expressive, meaning that they use different tones depending on the different aims of the work that they're doing. So let's take a look at two examples here. For example, of functional, look at the way that they describe the way that you can get matcha 3 different ways. Smooth and creamy, crafted for you. And they have basic language, tell you exactly what you're drinking and how much it costs, how many calories. And then there's another piece that's using the expressive tone, talking about the wildly chilled taste of the dragon mango fruit Starbucks refresher, or also talking about the Starbucks iced green peach tea that's amazing. Next, let's look at Uber. Uber uses a brand voice that describes their fearless optimism. They're bold, direct, and with heart. Let's take a look at a couple of their pieces here. When they talk in their brand guidelines about tone of voice, they talk about being bold. Does it grab the audience's attention? Are they speaking as confident leaders? Does it feature strong, specific word choices? In terms of language, they ask, is it direct, easy to understand in a quick single pass? Is it clear and succinct as possible, scrubbed of jargon? And is the audience asked to act? Is the action clear and how to take it? And finally, the tone is with heart, with the focus on the audience and why would the audience care, focusing on solutions over problems and assuming the positive about the situation or audience. And here, their purpose is to inform and sell. So, how do you adjust from different brand to brand? First, you explore your brand's guidelines. But sometimes when you're working in government, small businesses, or nonprofits, they don't have well-defined brand guidelines. And just because the brand isn't clearly captured by your organization doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does, however, make writing in a brand voice a bit more difficult. So here are some tips on how you can maneuver in a situation like that. Martech talks about the 3 C's of brand voice. Culture. Explore what your organization or person stands for. What do they talk about? What makes them stand out? Then think about the community that they're involved in. Find out the problems and concerns, listen to the way people voice their feelings, and make sure you know what they want from you. Speak on their language, on their terms. And then finally, consider it a conversation. Determine what you're bringing to the conversation by putting your brand out there, and then communicate it with personality and authenticity. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Here's Dove. They have an uplifting and empowering brand voice. Take a look at that tweet. It talks about finding more women who look like her, taking action with women everywhere to shatter beauty stereotypes around the world. Known for their work to dispel unrealistic beauty standards, body positivity is a theme that's central to Dove's brand identity. The tone is uplifting. The language is approachable. The purpose is to engage. Similarly, Nike has a powerful and inspiring brand voice. They're talking about athletes. You'll notice the little asterisk there says, if you have a body, you're an athlete. They're known for its inspirational tone of voice, which also includes an element of grit. The iconic slogan, "Just Do It," has created a powerful brand persona that encourages athletes, and really all of us, to pursue goals with resilience and persistence. Here, the tone is inspiring, the language is simple, and the purpose is to entertain or sell. Now let's do it yourself. Now you know the elements of brand voice and how to capture it. You're ready to take on the world. Here are those elements one more time. Let's go through them. Character or persona. Who are you? What do you stand for? Then tone. How are you going to address people? Language. What kinds of words are you going to use? Complex or more simple? And the purpose. What is the purpose of your communication? Are you working to engage, educate, entertain, or inform? And finally, work through the brand voice checklist when you're working on things. First, consider your audience, who they are, and how they like to be communicated with. Positioning. Determine where your brand stands in the market and against competitors. It'll help you establish your voice. Core values. What matters to you and to your customers? Characteristics. What qualities make up your brand's personality, similar to the BIW brand personality? Are you a sage? Are you a hero? Maybe you're every person. And finally, what channels are you using? And how do you maintain your voice between all the areas? Well, now that we've walked through how to write in a brand voice, you're ready to go. But please feel free to reach out with any questions. Thank you, and have a great day.